Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Thursday Things. And tonight I have a very special guest, Stone Loki, or Loki's Morning of Mischief. He's fantastic to listen to. In fact, I was listening to his program this morning where he had some really insightful things to say about just different opinions. And so if you were not listening to that this morning, you need to go back and listen to that stream. Of course, I have with me my special co-host, my wonderful husband of almost 31 years, Troy. He is also known as Carton the Cleon Cleric, and then you know him as Friday Night Last Call. Troy, how you doing tonight, sweetie, and what are you sipping on?
I'm doing wonderfully. Thank you so much. I'm just sipping on a black cherry sparkling water. Yeah, I got to say, I know how excited you've been about tonight's stream. When you told me you were lining up guests, and you're like, oh, yeah, and I got Loki of Loki's Mornings of Mischief. I'm like, okay, I'm pretty impressed. That's pretty good. Go for it. So.
Now, this is what's funny. When I was lining up guests, Troy's like, wait, you got who?
Yeah.
And I was like, well, yeah, I just asked, and they said, okay. And he goes, wait, but how? And I'm like, because I asked. I'm not afraid to ask anyone to be on my show. You can say no if you want to, but he was just surprised that I had the nerve to be like, I'm a tiny channel, but I'm asking these big people to be on my channel. Because it's like, it doesn't hurt to ask, you know? And I've gotten some fantastic guests that way. In fact, I have some coming up that are well known to all of you in the community, like Adega is coming up June 1st. And it's like, you know, if you don't ask, you're never going to know if it can happen. So it's like, you know, I may be a tiny channel, but, you know, if I can get somebody on here that you all know and you all, you know, like and respect, that's great, you know. Then,
make suggestions.
Yeah.
Let's not keep them waiting.
No, I'm not going to keep my guests waiting. So you must all know Loki's Morning of Mischief. But if you don't, here's your chance to get to know him. How you doing today, Loki? And what are you sipping on?
Good evening. How are you doing, Netter? I'm doing good. I've got some no sugar. It's like southern tea. Usually it'd be like sweet tea, but no sweet in it. So
No
real
sweet.
tea, not like a hardcore drink.
Nice.
I'm very boring tonight.
Oh no, mine's boring. I have water.
Yeah, that I guess that's about as boring as you can get, right? But you did say you have an early morning tomorrow, so I totally understand. Maybe save the good stuff for the weekend, right?
Right. I'm going to convention this weekend. So Saturday, it's Retropalooza convention in Houston. So
wow. Okay. Good.
Nick from Echo Base should be there, and 24/7 Fusion will be there, and of course the lovely Heirs of Chaos will be there with me. So
Nice.
Keely Chow might show up. I don't know about anybody else, but it should be a fun time.
Good. Awesome.
Now, of course, I have the standard questions I ask everyone, then we kind of expound from that. So, how did you get started, and what made you start a channel?
she's going right out of the bat and just like, you know.
Yep.
So I was in a motorcycle accident. I used to do chemical dependency counseling. So I used to be a drug counselor. And I got in a really bad motorcycle accident. And I was basically living on a couch for about a year. And it was initially I got a new computer to get me off the couch. I was like, maybe if I have something that I'm like that I need to get off this couch. So I got the computer, and then I was contemplating what I was going to do, and I did a video for a friend that got attacked by this crazy journalist, calling them all ists, obes, and Yahtzees and all this stuff. And they didn't even know who these people were. I'd been listening to YouTube since before the accident. I spent most of my days listening to YouTube after the accident because I had nothing else to do. And I made a video, and then people said, we want more. And I was like, okay.
Wow.
And I did more videos, and I did the whole Joker thing. When Joker exploded, And then I ended up with I think over 100 subscribers, and I was like, what can I do that nobody else is doing? And nobody was doing morning shows. Nobody was doing morning shows. Midnight Edge wasn't doing morning shows then. It was like nobody in the fandom was doing a morning show. And I used to love, back when I drove, I used to drive a rig. I loved listening to the morning show. When I got my truck and I was doing my deliveries, I loved listening to this station in Fort Worth. This great guy called Russ Martin. He was funny. They talked about funny stuff. They joked around every morning. It was a really cool thing to listen to while I was working. And I was like, I would really love to do something like that and get a group of people to just be me in the beginning, just be me. But I'd love to get a group of people that I can talk to, that I can hang out with in the mornings, just have a good time and a good wake up call for everybody in the morning. And I started to think of a name, and I was like, it was like Mornings with Loki, and I was like, man, that doesn't really work. And I did my first show, and it was called Mornings with Loki. Over that weekend, I went on a guy, John Paul Wright. He's an entertainment hacker. And I was like, I'm trying to come up with a name. He didn't have that many people on back then. Yeah, I think he had like 10 or 12 people in his live stream. And he was like, well, Loki's mischievous. So what about something with mischief? And I was like, Loki's Mornings of Mischief. I love it. I love it. Thank you. Thank you. And that next Monday, I started doing Loki's Mornings of Mischief. And I told everybody 8 a.m. Central Standard Time, Monday through Friday, I will be here and I will be your morning show. And one of the higher guys, one of the high ups that had been doing YouTube forever was like, well, a morning show? Are you crazy? Yeah, what are you going to do? Have the chopper guy give us the traffic report in the morning, Loki? You don't need to be doing a morning show. You're never going to get anybody to watch you. I was like, you know what? That's not a bad idea. I'll have Chopper Dan on in the morning, and he'll do the SJW traffic report. And we did do that for like the first year. I had Chopper Dan just to be a butt about the whole thing, but it worked. It worked.
Now,
and it's pretty much like
have you ever watched WKRP in Cincinnati?
No.
There's a character on there called Les Nessman, who was the weatherman, and he would fake being in a helicopter by.
Yeah, we're down here on the 9. Yeah. I love the what was it? Good Morning Vietnam. Good Morning Vietnam. Yeah. Pump Up the Volume. Anything to do with radio, I watched when I was growing up, and I loved those movies. So we got a water buffalo jackknife in the middle of the jungle here. So immediately when I did the chopper, we're down here on the 9, Loki, and we got SJWs everywhere. They're just jackknife in the middle of the road. They're going crazy. Back to you. Yeah. The little things you pick up watching stuff like that.
That's really encouraging to hear. Your story sounds, in a lot of ways, similar to mine. I kind of patterned my Friday night last call after a radio show that I used to listen to here in Chicago on talk radio on the drive home from work. It wasn't the 5 o'clock drive. It was like the 6 o'clock drive. It was after people had gotten going and whatnot. And it was. Okay, time to relax. Friday start, and you guys are all leaving work. We're gonna pull out the drink cart, and here's what we're having. And I just a lot of the stuff that, and then that show kind of fell apart years ago now, and I really miss it. I'm like, you know what? I want to keep some of those elements that I loved alive. I'm gonna do that.
Well, considering the hosts always got bombed on their show.
Yeah, they did. They kind of did, which. I mean, we're talking, terrestrial radio, so, well, that just shows you how old I am.
They would call it the Carnarvon Wagon, and they would have a guest bartender come in, and the guest bartender would make them up different drinks. They were like, okay, in our bar we have the specialty drink, and you can have that, or you can have something else that you want. And they would at least try the specialty drink to see if they liked it, but more often than not, it's like they'd have a little bit of the specialty drink and then order something more hardcore.
Yeah.
And it's just like, and you could tell they were getting bombed.
Yeah, it started out with just, whatever, off the shelf stuff they had on their bar cart. And then, Netter's right. They eventually started having, different local bars and restaurants would send a representative bartender, which would be like, free airtime publicity for their restaurant or whatever, and mix up the drinks. But yeah, I miss that, so I wanted to keep that alive. So that's kind of what I love about the Mornings of Mischief. It is like, and Netter and I work from home, so we don't have a commute. So I can turn it on and listen, as I'm just kind of starting my day, which is...
Yeah, and I missed you yesterday because I was stuck in meetings all morning.
Yeah.
And then by the time I got I'm like, darn, I missed it.
Yeah.
Culture came on yesterday morning. That was so great getting to have them on. But I'm like you. I work out of the house, and mainly I do this. Sometimes I do some stuff for other people, but mostly it's work from home, and I'm very, very lucky. I'm very, very lucky that it turned out the way it did, because it was... I tell people, do not do things like I did them, because what I did was I was like, okay, either this YouTube thing's going to work or I'm going to be living out of my car. That's that. Either this is going to work or I'm going to be living out of my car eating soup out of a can. And it didn't. It worked. It really worked. And things have changed so much over the last almost 4 years now.
Wow.
It's absolutely crazy how much things have changed.
And it almost sounds like it was very therapeutic at the beginning, especially for you. Like you said, getting off the couch, doing something that was different, so you weren't just sitting on the couch. And from there, it just kind of seems to have exploded.
In a way it was. In a way it wasn't. I was okay. So I'd been with a woman for almost seven years at that point, and she absolutely hated it. She was like, why don't you just go lay back down on the couch and smoke some pot and you'll be fine, and just lay there. You don't need to get up. You don't need to do anything. And then it got to, I don't want you doing this. You don't need to be doing this. And then it got, if you continue to do this, I'm going to leave. And then it got to, I'm leaving. And I was like, okay, bye.
Yeah.
And that was the end of that. And there was a lot of fighting, and a lot of every single morning show, I'd get yelled at for about 25 minutes before the show started. It would literally be like 10 seconds to go, and she would finally stop, because she didn't want to get caught. She didn't want to get caught if I hit that live button. She didn't want to get caught being heard yelling at me. So she'd stop. There was a couple of times Mike got to hear, and Adega reminded me. He goes, I know you always say Mike knew, and nobody else knew, but he goes, I remember. I go, I know you do. I never involved him in that part. So, but he did. And he knew what was going on. And there's a huge difference between me now and me then. Me now is very relaxed and very, very chill. You can almost hear it in my live streams too. There is a lot of anger in that first year where I'm just like, I'm going off the chain. I'm yelling, I'm upset, and it was getting all of that out. It was getting my living situation out. It was getting the situation I was in. I couldn't believe I let myself get to the situation I was in, and I was clawing my way out from that and getting all that anger and upset out. And it's almost like I'm a different person. I told Adega tonight after the show, I go, dude, sometimes I feel like I'm going to wake up and I'm going to be back. Like this is all just a dream, and I'm not really, this hasn't all happened. It's almost too good to be true that things have shifted so much.
I was, I jumped on a membership stream over on Midnight's Edge this morning, and I was talking with Andre and Tom about some of those things you were just talking about, this, what it's like to be, streaming and kind of having what's basically a chat show, just like we always used to watch, on TV or listen to on the radio, and what it's like to be, on, in quotes, on, and what it's like to, just do something a little bit more casual and laid back and just hanging out with friends. And one of the things Tom was saying is, sometimes the two just blur together. It's like, if I'm working, I do the broadcast, hello and welcome, and, sometimes, if it's just a karaoke and everything, it's like, I'm here, thanks for having me, and Andre was like, it really can be, are you really working? or are you just doing what you love? And I'm like, yeah, I guess it's like if you're doing what you love, you never work a day in your life. So
That's right.
Like I was telling someone that the only reason why I asked for subs, it's not for me, it's for you. Because for every 100 subs I get, I give away stuff.
And like I said, I get stuff out of the house, so that's good for me.
Yeah, so it's like it's the opportunity for me to have a giveaway, and it's like the only condition is I have to have, a milestone. So for my 200 subs, I gave away like 5 different gifts, and so now I'm going for 300. Once I hit 300, I'll give away more things. Once I hit 1,000, I'm going to give away something awesome. I'm still thinking about what that is. A couple people have suggested the Ghostbuster set that Troy has behind his head, which you can't see right now because, well, it's his icon, but you'll see it on Friday Night Last Call. If you tune in tomorrow, you will see it right behind his what is that, your left shoulder. And I'm considering possibly 4,000 subs giving that one away, because we do have a second one. But yeah, I don't know. It might be that, might be something else. But that's the only reason why I'm really looking for subs. It's like I want to be able to give stuff away, and that's the only condition is I want a milestone. I will give you things. So it's kind of like instead of spinning a wheel and you win, it's like once I get to another 100 subs, anyone who wants to win a prize, I'll put all your names in the wheel of gifts, and you win stuff.
That's awesome.
And speaking of the chat, Troy, will you help me say hello to our chat? So I know first time it was Lady Mist. Good evening, sweetie. And she always does her little roses. Those are so pretty. And she does blue for me because she knows that's my favorite color. And Deleted Scenes was next. And I know he's 15 subs away from his 200. So anyone that's not subbed to him, please drop a sub for him so he can get to his 200.
Deleted Scenes is one of those guys that you probably think you're already subscribed to, but you should probably check because maybe you're not,
Yeah, I've had that happen with a couple of YouTubers that I've gone to, like Troy will be listening to. I'm like, oh, who are you listening to? And he'll mention a name. It's like, oh, I didn't get a notification or anything. And I'll go there and I find that I've been unsubbed by YouTube.
Yep.
So double check that you're still subbed to the people that you want to hear. And make sure you hit the notification bell so you never miss a vid or live stream. And like I said, make sure you are still subbed to those people. See, next up I see Connie Cleary. Welcome, sweetie. And I always have contact problems trying to see these small letters. Then I see Chris Kent Sr.
Who later changes his name to the longest running.
Shh,
Ooh, don't want to give away his secret identity, right? Even though he says it right there in the chat.
Let's see. Chris, is it Prisa? Prisa, okay. Hi, sweetie. Let's see, I know I'm missing people. There's that Troy guy saying hi to people. Deleted Scenes, our awesome Blue Wrench is dropping everyone's links. So you can subscribe to anyone that is in the chat as well. Click on their links and because Orville Nation always says, it's like I drew a blank on what I wanted to say. Orville Nation always says, together we grow.
Yep.
And it says, not so much that we're looking for subs just to have subs because we want to, oh, I'm popular, I got subs. It's, we want the subs to grow the channel to reach more, to be able to get whatever message we have out there.
Well, I want to be popular.
Well, that's you. I mean, I even said, what was it on Pacifica 414's channel? It's like when I'm having a guest on, it's you're my new best friend. I want to know all about you. So for me, it's just growing my channel so more people can know about my new best friend.
Right.
It has nothing to do with me. Let's see. Then of course we got longest running superhero.
Adega. I told him we were talking about him in the green room.
Yep, there's Adega. Hey, sweetie. I thought I saw Evelyn Hampton.
Yep.
There she is. It's like every once in a while the chat will jump on me, so it's like, wait, I just saw that one.
Tim Hayes jumped in there.
Tim Hayes, yes. And D. Pensek.
Pensek, welcome.
Gorilla's Random Thoughts. That's a cool name.
Isn't it?
I think a lot of us kind of choose our names based on like a theme like that. Like I have Thursday Things. He's Random Thoughts. You're
Yeah.
Loki's Morning of Mischief.
The Loki name goes way back, way back to even kind of in a weird way before I was born.
Wow.
My dad was an S3A Viking pilot. He was in the very first squadron, and he was a flight leader for that squadron. So because it was the very first squadron of S3A Vikings, they gave him the call sign Odin because Vikings. My older brother, who was 12 years older than I am, is 6'7", and had at the time he was playing football. He was a little shorter than that, but in high school he was 6'4", and he had long blonde hair, and it was, I mean, built like a brick shit house. I was born, and I'm like the little baby brother with the dark black hair. So of course, it's the little Loki. It's the little Loki kid. It's
It
the
is
little Loki in
awesome
the
that
family.
that is true. I mean, it's like, that's so meta. I love it.
So the first like back before AOL, the first call sign whatever on online I had was Loki, and then it was Loki 1147. Eventually it was Stone Loki. So I've had the Loki thing forever.
That's awesome.
Wow. Let's see. We also have Gerald the Derelict in the chat. I don't remember if I said hello to Connie Clear, so hi, sweetie.
Big Al.
We just saw Big Al. Sorry I'm late. Nodded off a bit.
I was just telling him that's okay. We took a nap before the stream too.
Well, that's because we're old. And,
That's because we're old. Yeah.
Let's see. Is that JPR PH1?
Yep.
Welcome. Leah Rose, welcome. I think that catches me up. If I missed anybody, welcome, sweetie. Thank you for being here.
Yep.
Now,
Good.
back
Caught
to
up.
our special guest. Now, I understand you have some upcoming nuptials. When are you getting married?
October 13th, which happens to be a Friday the 13th this year. So
Oh, now tell me, is it going to be a themed wedding? Are you going to
No.
wear hockey masks or something?
no, no, we'll probably do that for our first anniversary. But
That'd be
no,
awesome.
we're gonna be on an island in the Keys, so we're not gonna be wearing hockey masks, or they'd
Okay.
probably run us off the island if we did something like that. So
Oh,
it'll
that
be a
is
very beach wedding. So
That is awesome. Congratulations, Loki.
Thank you.
And hello to the Bosco scenario. Thank you for being here, sweetie. Just want to make sure I didn't miss anybody else. Okay.
and thank you, Leia Rose. Thank you.
It sounds like it's going to be a really awesome wedding.
Yeah, it better be. For everything that we're doing and everything that's going into it, it better be. So I got really lucky. Mike, Mexican Iron Man, is going to be my best man. He's going to stand up with me.
Oh, that's
I don't-
really cool.
I don't have much family left. There will be. I was just telling him this, and he'll probably be like, "Loki, you're not supposed to talk about this kind of stuff." There will be a seat for Dega, even though he's probably not going to be there. He is my brother, so there will be a seat for Dega there.
Good.
But I mean, that's going to be like my side. That's it. It's like Mike's going to be there. Everyone else that's coming, it's her family. So
Well, that's when you invite everybody in the chat and we'll all show up.
Right.
We're your family.
Oh, yeah, you could stream it.
No phones. No phones on the island. This is a
Oh.
private island that
Wow.
we're gonna have for the day. So there are no phones. There is no nothing like that. We've got the island to ourselves for the day. They only do one wedding a day on that island. So we'll have the island for ourselves that day. We're gonna stay there a couple of days after that, and we'll have our own little beach cabana for like a couple of days, and then we're gonna go to Orlando after that. So
Wow. Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's like when Troy and I first got married almost 31 years ago, we got married at City Hall. And our 25th wedding anniversary, we renewed our vows. So that's when I got a wedding dress. He was wearing a tux because I always wanted one really nice picture of me in a dress and him in a tux. You know, because we got married at City Hall, and it's like, okay, I wasn't wearing a wedding dress then. So when we renewed our vows, I actually put everything together on the fly in 2 weeks because the person that was supposed to be putting it together for us completely dropped the ball and didn't do anything. So I scrambled, and in 2 weeks, I managed to put together our vow renewal, including getting the venue, getting the food set up for the venue, getting the cake ordered, getting a wedding dress on eBay for $40, brand new, from a bridal shop, getting the wedding favors and all that. And this was all for about 40-ish people. And I pulled it off in 2 weeks, and I had a budget of $2,500.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. That cinched it for me. I was like, okay, there is no reason you have to go into hock up to your eyeballs when you start your life together. You know?
No, and that's amazing. That is absolutely amazing.
Yeah, that's why it's like I'll watch some of these bridal shows, like Say Yes to the Dress. It's like, why are you spending 10,000, 20,000, whatever, on a dress you're gonna wear once?
Oh
Yeah,
no,
certainly
I
you can
absolutely
return it.
agree. We're doing this. The stay there is going to be the most expensive thing. She's got a really nice. It's almost like a basic white like beach dress, kind of like a. It's not really a sundress, but I don't know. I'm not a chick, so I can't explain it. I know I've got like white loafers, white slacks, and a white and blue like luau looking shirt. And I mean,
Yeah.
it's almost like a tuxedo shirt, but it's got like blue flowers on the front, but it's a white shirt, white short sleeve shirt with like the little frilly tuxedo stuff in front, but it's got blue flowers on it. I mean, it's really simple as far as like how we're dressing, what we're spending on clothing. We're very basic. It's the trip and the amenities, I guess you would say, that we're like, you know what, it's only going to happen once, so might as
Yeah.
well knock it out of the park and have a good one.
And for us, Troy already owned the tux because we do Victorian reenactments, so Victorian
Oh,
steampunk,
nice.
and so he had the tux from when we were doing that. So he just put on the tux because that's just not the fair thing. That men's styles, they can still wear the same suit that they could just put on a suit, and it was fine in the 19 or even the 1800s. It's fine now, and their wardrobe hasn't changed. Yet women's styles have changed so much.
Yeah, it's just what it is. Men, I think, are simpler animals.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, the same tux he would have worn in the 1800s, like 1894, he can wear today, and it's totally fine. It still looks the same. Like you watch Downton Abbey, it's the same tux.
Connie Cleary says, if I ever get married, the wedding is steampunk Halloween on Halloween Day. Okay, I dig it.
Nice.
I dig it.
Heck yeah.
Slap a gear on it and call it steampunk.
Oh, Chris has said to you, Loki, he will answer if you ask, and Netter seems to be someone who's willing to ask.
Yes, exactly. There you go.
That's like, hey, I'm not shy. When I was growing up, I used to be really shy. I think they just said I was introverted. And then I just came out of my shell, and I will talk to anybody. I mean, I would go
Honestly-
up to strangers and go, I really like that blouse, or those are such nice shoes. Like, where'd you get them? And things like that, Men, women, didn't matter. And it got me out of myself, so I wasn't shy anymore. You said, I'll talk to anybody.
I think another element of it is the older you get, the less you care, so you don't get embarrassed. It's like, I just don't care.
Well, I totally get that. I used to talk to people for a living. That was what I went to college for, was to talk to people, to figure it out, and to give them advice and help them get through. I never imagined I'd be working for the prison system, which is what I ended up doing.
Yeah.
But it also didn't. I don't know. It didn't really work the way I thought it would. So I thought, this is what's gonna make me happy. And I'm busting my ass to get my degree. I was working 40 to 50 hours a week, a full-time job driving, and doing night classes, and then doing full-time classes, and then doing my oh my god, I can't think of the word of it right now. Internship. Thank you.
Oh yeah.
Internship. So, and that was 2,000 hours as an intern, just so I could talk to people about drug counseling. So it was just, it was crazy
It sounds
to go through
intense.
all that. And then because that lasted, the school lasted about 4 years, and then it was another 2 years internship. So, I mean, that's a good chunk of your life that you spent to do something, and then you just are like, you know what, maybe I made the wrong call. Everybody said I always should be doing something with computers, I should be recording, I should be doing this. And there was a really cool, the artist for my channel, the woman who did all the dragons and all that stuff. She asked me probably 12, 13 years ago now. She goes, why don't you ever talk? This is when I was doing just music videos. She goes, why don't you ever talk in your videos? And I said, no one wants to hear me. No one wants to listen to me talk. Who the hell is ever going to listen to me talk? I couldn't get anybody to listen to me talk. She goes, you really need to talk in your videos instead of using text. You need to speak and talk when you're doing these music videos. And I was like, ah, no one wants to hear.
You actually have a really nice voice.
Yeah.
I could see you being like a radio announcer or something like that. You've just got that kind of a voice.
Thank you.
Well,
Thank
let me
you.
ask you.
I never
this.
thought that.
So, and that's great insight. So you never, until recently, never even thought about yourself doing this kind of thing.
I did. Okay, so my account, the Loki's Mornings of Mischief account, if you
Uh-huh.
go in there and look at that, it's like account created 2009.
Uh-huh.
I was uploading videos then. So I was doing like Star Trek music videos, Star Trek tribute videos, everything to do with Star Trek. And I've got all the old stuff backed up because I happened to think, you know what? Why don't I download these instead of just deleting them off my channel?
Yeah.
Um, and it never really, I think I got to like 28 subscribers.
Mm-hmm.
And, I think one video got 50 views.
Mm.
Just it never really went anywhere, and I never took it seriously. And I came back to it, and I was working with Zeropium, the guy I work with on Monday, and we were doing these funny videos like interviews with Patrick Stewart, where he'd be, oh, and we had them in the chopper. We had these women in the chopper, and they were naked. Their clothes were falling off. I mean, this is really Patrick Stewart, and I'm asking him all these questions, and he's giving me all these crazy responses. And we did it with Arnold Schwarzenegger, and we did it with Stone Cold Steve Austin, and it was just this funny stuff we were doing. And again, I didn't take it seriously, and
Right.
at the end of the day, it never went anywhere. And it really wasn't until I did Mornings of Mischief that, and I like I said, I think I'd had over 100 subscribers at that point. I said, you know what, I'm going to dedicate myself to doing this every day. I'm going to sit down. I'm going to do Monday through Friday show. I might do some night stuff. I don't know about that. I do that now. We do like four days a week. We do stuff at night. I do a guest spot on Pops is on Tuesday. We do Wednesday nights, and we do Thursday nights, and then we do Friday nights most of the time. Mike's been in and out of that. Like we won't do one tomorrow night because I'm going to go to a convention first thing in the morning. I'm pick up 24/7, and we're going to go to that convention. But usually we do the Friday night stuff too. So just on my own, I'm doing 7 to 8 shows a week, and then
Wow.
guesting anywhere.
Yeah.
But I love what I do. And it's like what you're saying about Andre, what Andre said. Andre's the man. Andre knows exactly what he wants and why he wants to do it. And I see it the exact same way. I love getting the opportunity to do this. I love being part of people's mornings. There's nothing that makes me happier than when someone sends me a message and says, I love waking up to your show. You get me going every day. I said, damn, that's the point, and that's what you guys did for me too. You guys got me up. You guys kept getting me up in the morning and wanting me to do this more and more and more and enjoying it more as time went on. So
And I think that's part of it is you're giving people a purpose to get up in the morning and, like you had phrased it, or you had said earlier, get up off the couch.
Yeah.
You know, you're inspiring them to get up, to do something, to, you know, not just sit on the couch. And I think that's fantastic because you're still counseling people just in a different way.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, originally it was called, okay, so before the first mornings with Loki, I did some videos called Pop Culture Therapy. It was all about enjoying what you want. Enjoy what you want to enjoy. Don't worry what anybody else thinks. Who cares what, someone else's opinion is? Enjoy what you enjoy and be proud. Be proud. You know what? I'm a Star Trek fan. I love Star Trek. I know all the I talk like Worf's father off of TNG. I have all the technical schematics and diagrams at home. I love Star Trek. I'm not going to be afraid to talk about why I love Star Trek. I'm proud that I know so much about Star Trek. Star Wars used to be the same thing. I used to talk about the EU all the time, but that eventually changed into that first morning show, and then Mornings of Mischief was born just a weekend after that.
It's so much. This is why it's so important to so many of us to talk about these franchises we love because they really are so much a part of our life. You're talking about Star Trek. Netter and I met because of Star Trek.
Yeah.
You know, we were at a convention. I was in a Star Trek club that she happened to join. We got to talking, and we eloped 5 months later. So
8.
Was it 8? Okay.
We met beginning December
Less
of
than
91.
a year is the important point.
At the end of December of 91, we were engaged. We married 8 months later.
Yep.
This year will be 31 years of our being married.
Yep. And throughout all of that, we've done the steampunk stuff and whatnot, but Star Trek has been the solid one.
The first time I made the trek back down to Houston to hang out with Eris, I walked into her place and she had a Indiana Jones, big Indiana Jones, Raiders of the Lost Ark original movie poster. She had a Star Trek, the motion picture movie poster, and she had it was like a Japanese Star Wars movie poster from Japan. And I was like, oh, we're going to get along just great. And we started talking about Star Trek, and she loved TOS. She'd seen a lot of Next Gen. We were sitting there talking. I was like, well, my favorite is DS9. And she goes, I've never seen DS9. I went, oh, we've got to watch Deep Space Nine.
Where is she from?
Houston.
Oh, she's from, okay. The reason I asked that is because Netter and I haven't seen most of Deep Space Nine. That's because we live in the Chicago area. And whereas the others were syndicated on, back then it was like UPN and whatever. Well, Deep Space Nine wasn't. Here it was on our
Channel 9.
Yeah, here
WGN.
It was Channel 9. But the problem with it was, because that's just the way syndication worked, it could be on different channels. And the problem was that the channel that was carrying it here was also the one that carried all the sports ball. So it was constantly being interrupted and impromped. And so there were so many episodes that I didn't see. And it drove me crazy seeing that, Deep Space Nine will not be presented because, the Cubs or whatever. So
Foosball.
Exactly. So join us at a special time. And I'm like, you know what a special time would be? A special time would be the same time 2 weeks in a row, damn it.
And the thing that would make me crazy is that, like, the ball game would be on, and then as soon as it ended, they would start showing Deep Space Nine, but not at the beginning. It would
already
be
in progress.
Yeah, it would be already in progress. So it would be like half over. It's like, I have no idea what the setup was for any of this.
Yeah. Well, I got them on DVD. I'm going to start watching them because
they're so good, good. That's my favorite. That's my favorite Star Trek.
It's like, if you ever want to talk Star Trek, Star Wars, especially Star Wars, Troy's your guy.
Oh, yeah.
We have a 6-foot Millennium Falcon sitting in our garage.
We got Johnny Sail Barge on the bar.
Yeah.
We've
got, what is the Mando's...
Oh, the Razor Crest.
Razor Crest. I couldn't think of what it's called. with the Razor Crest sitting on our, well, I guess it would be our dining room table, but we're not using it for anything else right now.
Right. Oh yeah, poor Netter. She has to put up with me now that I've started doing the YouTube thing for the past couple of years. Every year in November, I do a watch party of the holiday special. And she's like, do I have to watch this again? I'm like, well, technically you don't. You could go do something else. But she's always there on my channel.
It's like Carrie
Ichuta. How rude.
How rude. In fact, the thing I like to tell people is when it comes to that holiday special, there was a YouTuber out there. I don't know if it's this. There's another channel calling itself that. It may not be the same guy. Thank the Maker. Actually, it might be the same person. He may have just taken it down. But Thank the Maker had done his own fan edit of the holiday special, and took out, the goofy variety show stuff, and actually spliced in some added footage, like himself as a character, having communication with the rebellion and what. It was actually real. And then he put like what do they call it? You read at the bottom the subtitles for when the Wookiees are talking, because they never had that. And he puts in like funny stuff, like Mala calls Princess Leia looking for Han and Chewie, and when she gets up, because it's Carrie, she stumbles because she stumbles, and the Wookiees say something to each other, and the subtext comes up. Looks like she's already gotten into the Life Day cheer.
Because I think actually either she was drunk or on
she was
something.
high on something. There's
Yeah.
no doubt about it. But yeah, so I like every year I'll show a different version of the holiday special, and I'll send out DVDs to random people in the chat. And I sent that particular one to Tom Connors. I said, give this a try. Just give it a try. He's like, okay, I'll check it out.
Yeah, it's like I just can't get past the Wookiee porn.
It's amazing what Star Wars fans would do. I did a re-edit of the first 2 seasons of Mando, and I did it as like a 4-part miniseries, and added the crawl, because that's what I'm like, dude. You can't have Star Wars without a crawl. It's the biggest sin Rogue One did, was have Star Wars without a crawl. So I gave
agree.
each season a crawl.
Did you see that? I don't remember who it was, but somebody did a fan edit of the Obi-Wan show and took it down to almost like a 2.5-hour movie. It's actually almost watchable.
Nice. No, I hadn't seen that.
But Netter's making fun of the Wookiee porn. Obviously, everyone knows that scene where Lumpy has got the mind evaporator on,
That's just
which
disturbing.
I think, in my head canon now, is the same technology from that one episode of the Mandalorian where the guy's in the brain scanner thing or whatever. But in the original, it was Diane Carroll, and it was very clearly not exactly appropriate.
Oh yeah.
And in the Thank the Maker edit, they take that out, and he actually cut in. I had to do some research to find this out. Yes, it really was research for this purpose, because I'm a geek. Apparently, there is a Star Wars porn out there called Underworld, and so there is footage from that in its place, and it's actually kind of cool, because it's like a cantina, and these girls are dancing. One's got the Twi'lek, lick who, and then one's got the ones like Ahsoka, and they're dancing together. It gets pretty hot, and then obviously it cuts away before anything really good starts happening. But I'm like, wow, that really was Star Wars porn.
Huh.
But just the fact that Grandpa's sitting there getting his jollies is disturbing.
But anyway, thought you'd like that story.
Star Wars fans.
Absolutely, absolutely. And Appian is saying he likes the collection of media behind us. Yeah, we got well over 1,000 DVDs back there.
Yes, those are DVDs. Those are not books.
Yeah. Well, there's a couple books because, like, where we have the Dean Koontz Frankenstein, I have the print the hardback of the comic of it there too.
Yeah, but that's very thin. It's laying on top.
And over on the other side of her, where actually you can see it on the lower right of the screen, is all the Smallville.
Somebody save me.
Yes, exactly.
Yep, I was looking at that. I saw that earlier.
And I got the season 11 comics right lying on their side right next to them. So
I got the anniversary box set. So I used to have all the DVD box sets like y'all. And over the course of however many years ago that was, I've either misplaced discs or they've been lost or whatever.
Yeah.
So I got like the mega set and with the S shield on the front of it. I kind of wish though I had the old ones too.
I am so thankful that the price of like a season of something has come down significantly.
Oh, yeah.
It's really affordable now. It used to be, back when they were first putting out Next Gen on DVD and whatnot, it was like $80-$90 a season. I'm like, damn it, I can't justify that,
Now you can get the whole Blu-ray collection for like $100.
I know. In fact, I'm going to because
those are beautiful.
I caught that interview that RMD was doing with Midnight's Edge, where he was talking about the special, the special features that he worked on, including the restoration of the original version of the Most Toys, the one with Kiefer Faggio. With the original actor that was playing Kiefer Faggio. And I'm like, gosh, I want to see that. He goes, it's on the Blu-ray. I'm like, okay, so I got to get the Blu-ray set now. If only for that.
They went through and they redid a lot of the special effects too. So you're gonna see some really cool stuff you didn't notice before, and it's gonna look a lot cleaner, man. The difference between the Blu-ray and the DVD is night and day.
I would imagine, and I love to get like screen captures of like certain props and whatnot, and sometimes they're just so fuzzy on regular definition. Doing that whole costume thing and whatnot, I have all kinds of Klingon props, and sometimes the only way you can get a good view of it is in the episode that something appeared. And I'm just like, I'm just guessing here. So yeah, that might help me a great deal.
And of course, if y'all want to see the movies I have behind me, every other week on my channel, on Netter's Network, we will show one of those films. So we just watched Charlie last week. This week, I switch off with Big Al Presents. So this week will be him, and we'll be talking about that in a bit. And then, so not this Saturday, but the next Saturday, it'll be me again. And my next movie is the original Cheaper by the Dozen.
Yep.
So I'm actually doing these alphabetically. So I'm in the C's now.
Nice.
So there you go.
Although we are going to do a jump back after I do. So after Cheaper by the Dozen, 2 weeks after that will be Chicago, and then 2 weeks after that we're going back to the B's for Boxing Helena because I missed that one.
Yep, and we'll probably be talking about Julian Sands.
What do you guys watch? Like, what are you guys watching on? Do you have like a media room, or do you just watch on like a TV or?
So if you looking at Netter and you see the DVDs, right? The way you're facing her, if you were in our room, basically if you were sitting where I'm sitting, looking directly at her like this, and turned to the right, you'd see a wall with a big screen TV up there.
Gotcha.
That is effectively my second monitor connected to my computer. So I just throw it into the DVD drive on my computer, and I can play.
Nice.
Play it up on my big
Troy's
screen.
literally 3 feet in front of me, just
She's
right
looking
opposite
right
me.
at me, yeah.
It's like sometimes I'll be looking over my laptop at him, and then I'll like watch the rewatch of like the show, and I'll see myself looking over. It's like, yeah, that's what that was. I was looking over at Troy.
Yep.
So yeah.
So yeah, there you go.
So now, I guess my next question be, where do you want your channel to go from here? Is there anything
You
else
planning
that
to
you-
take over the world, Loki?
Oh man, no. And I people ask me all the time, oh, you're gonna be big, right? You're gonna be doing this.
You're already big.
PJ over at Orville Nation has been saying that since before I hit 1,000 subscribers.
He tells me that too. I'm starting to think he says that to everybody.
You're gonna be so huge. You're gonna leave us all behind in the dust. You're gonna be and it's that positive reinforcement. I know I know PJ's such a wonderful guy. I am happy. You never hear this, and I try and tell people this. I am happy where I'm at now. I've been the guy that's like, oh my god, I can't wait to jump in the ocean and swim with the sharks. I want to go from. I don't want to be in the pond. Don't put me in the pond. I want to be in. I want to sit at the adult table when I'm 12 years old, and I want to do this and I want to do that. And I'm happy where I'm at. So I mean, if we get bigger, that's great. If we get more people listening in the morning, I'm happy that we've got that. If we can affect some people's lives and get them to stream, that's even better. But I'm not ever like, well, I'm going to be 10,000 subscribers by next year, or I'm going to be 5,000 subscribers by next year. Whatever happens, happens. And I am enjoying the ride that I'm on. And I've never felt like that before, ever in my life. I've never felt like I'm happy where I'm at. I don't need a rush to get anywhere. I'm not in a rush to get anywhere besides where I'm at right now.
That's absolutely wonderful. I love that. And what you're saying about trying to get other people to like do streaming or do a channel, we have a lot of people out there that have a couple of subscribers. They have no content, and I keep encouraging them. You've got a couple of subscribers. People, want to see something on your channel. Take that step. Do something. And if you are like, well, I don't know what to do, or I'd like to do kind of like what you're doing, but I don't know where to start. I'm happy to be a guest on your show.
Yeah.
I'll talk about anything with you as long as I know what I'm talking about, and if I don't, I'll BS my way through it. I'm happy to help people get their channel started. I mean, I'm not huge myself. I mean, last I looked, I had 232 subscribers, so I'm not big by any means. But if you want help getting your channel started, I'm happy to help you any way I can. Together we grow.
Yep. Yeah.
And that's the way it should be. That's exactly the way it should be.
No,
I don't look at myself like I've got a huge channel. I never have. I appreciate all the support we've gotten. I love getting up in the morning with everybody, but I don't consider myself a giant channel. And I could have 10 times the subs I have now. I probably still wouldn't consider myself a huge channel. At the end of the day, that's just a vanity number. It's all it is. It's that number that it's just a number that what matters is the people that show up in your chat, what you can do for them.
Exactly.
I used to say we're entertainers, and coming out in the morning and doing that opening is the extent of someone coming out and saying, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to Loki's Ringling Brothers and Barnum. That opening bit with the music, good morning, and calling everybody out, and Psychodorf 9, the Mad Doctor, and Dega Outlaw. And then after that, it's like, okay, let's get down to business and let's be real.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you everything that's me, and this is how I feel about it. And you can argue with me. You can tell me I'm wrong. You can say I don't know what I'm talking about, but let's discuss it. And that discussion is important.
You said you're in no hurry. You don't move fast. It made me think of that line from Goodfellas. Loki might have moved slow, but it was only because he didn't have to move for anybody.
And that's true. I don't. I got offered this crazy thing. I got offered a radio rebroadcasting thing.
Oh.
But I would have had to change. I couldn't have done 0 Hour. I couldn't have done Taco Tuesday. I I would have had to change the name of everything. It would have all had to be in uniform, in line with their standards and all this stuff. At the end of the day, I listened to what people told me and the advice they gave me, and I just said, you know what? Um, thank you for the opportunity, but no, thank you, because this means more to me than just I want to get rebroadcasted on the radio.
Yeah.
This is mine. It's mine, and nobody can tell me how I have to talk. Nobody can tell me what I talk about. Nobody can tell me who I can have on. There's no overlord telling me what I have to do, and I've never felt like that before, ever, except for this thing. And I'm not gonna give that away.
That's amazing. Now, here's a question for you. If you could have any guest be on your show, who would be your big get if you could ever have them?
Wow, that's crazy. Because I kind of have.
Yeah,
when
you
I s-
kind of have. Yeah.
when I started out, my goal originally was one of my goals was I'm gonna get Dave Bob on the show
Mhm.
because Dave Bob said he's never gonna do a YouTube channel. I was like, I'm gonna get Dave Bob on the show. I'm gonna cooperate with Dave Bob, and I got that. And then the other ones where I want to talk to Jeff from World Class Bullshitters. I want to talk to Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers, and I want to talk to Ethan Van Skyver because they ran the big weekend show. They
Yeah.
ran the High Council, and I did that. I did all of that within my first year. I got to talk to Gary from Neurotic. I
Yep.
got to talk to Az. I got to talk to Robert Meyer Burnett. I got to talk to Joseph Pelosi from Stargate. That was a crazy one. I got to do that over on PJ's channel. I've gotten to talk to so many people. I got to talk to Gina Carano.
Wow.
There you go.
I got to meet Timothy Zahn in Tennessee at a Star Wars convention. I got to meet him and talk to him, tell him how my dad passed away the first year I was doing this. So he passed away in February of 2020. And me and him, that's how we bonded when I was a teenager. Was he got into reading the Star Wars books as I was reading. So I'd be reading through Heir to the Empire, and he would be reading through Heir to the Empire. We really bonded over the Timothy Zahn book. So getting to tell him about that and saying, look, me and my dad were not getting along. I was growing up. I was like I'm going to beat my chest because I'm a man now, even though I'm just a teenager and I don't know anything about anything. And we started talking about these Star Wars books. And I was like, this is the stuff that happened after the movie. And he was a huge Harrison Ford fan. Loved Harrison Ford, loved Indiana Jones, loved Star Wars. And it was a way we bonded and came together. And I got to sit there and I got to spend about 10, 15 minutes talking to Timothy Zahn about that. I really maybe like Christopher Judge or someone from Stargate or Star Trek. I don't know. But I've loved having everybody I've had on. We did like this Wednesday thing forever called Women of the Fandom. It was kind of like what you're doing here, what I'm doing here with you, except it was just women. So you had a YouTube channel. If you were part of the fandom, if you had a fandom you were in, you were invited on. Love to have you on. And we did this Women of the Fandom thing where I just a different woman each week, and we did that for a year. And then it turned into YouTube talk. And now it's going to move into like this creator talk where we talk to other creators. Doesn't matter whether they're male or female or any of that. So I don't know. I really love who I've had on. I at one point I was like, I'm gonna have more guests on than any other YouTube channel ever. And we have I really wanted Zero on, and I got him finally after like 2 years going. I really wish Zero would come on my show and be a regular. I finally got him to come on one morning. I was like, hey, why don't you come on next week, next Monday? I'll have you back on. And he was like, that'll be great. And I was like, my plan is working. And now he shows up every Monday. So
it never hurts to ask.
Yeah, it never hurts to ask. And what you said is exactly the way you do it. I've had people ask me, you just ask. But it's almost like it doesn't look, unless you say something to Az, unless you say something to Gary, unless you say something, Jeremy or Ethan or any of these other people. They're never going to know that you're doing what you're doing.
Right,
So it
exactly.
never hurts to send a DM on Twitter or an email or something saying, "Hey, I love your stuff. I've been watching you for a long time. Would you come on and spend an hour talking?" That never hurts. What's the worst they can say? No, I'm busy.
Yeah,
I
I
I
actually
I
had one. There's one person I asked. I don't remember who it was now, but I was like, I'd love to have you on my channel, and they're like, you know, thanks, but no thanks. And it's like, okay, then I
yeah
just moved on.
yeah.
Now, Netter, I know you have a Dega Outlaw coming up as a guest in
Yes.
in a couple weeks. I want you to make sure that you add to the questions you're going to ask him. I want to hear this story about how he made Patricia Tallman cry. That's a story I need to hear. I love Patricia
I'm writing
Tallman.
it down.
Okay. She's literally making a note
Yes.
to write it down. She will forget. I'll tell you what, though. I have to admit, I've started doing that a lot, too. I'm starting to do notes. I'm starting to get more organized. You know who actually got me doing that was Ryan Roger Athe. He's got a whole notebook of notes that he makes in preparation for shows he wants to do, questions he wants to ask, and stuff like that.
Yeah, the Rising Stars thing
That's
is like
amazing.
incredible.
He has a black folder, a black
Yep.
binder with like background detailed files on people. I'm like, why don't you just? He asked me something. I was like, well, you should know. He goes, how would I know that, Loki? I said, I'm sure you've got it written down in that black binder you keep everybody's secrets in. You're like the CIA of the Phantom Menace. He knows everything about everybody.
Well, I know when he was talking about me for his Rising Stars, he just went to my About and took information off of there and pretty much just read that. And that's where he's getting our information from, because we're talking about ourselves, so that's where he gets it from.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But hey, I'm a Rising Star.
I guess so.
Ryan Roger Athe said so. It's like did I say?
Yeah,
I
Fletcher
thought somebody was
Williams
asking me a
stopped
question in the
in.
chat, but that was for somebody else.
Say hi to him real quick. And we are at the 1 hour mark. I just
We
wanted
are
to
at the
point
1
that
hour
out.
mark, and I want to be sensitive to your time because I know you have to get up early.
We can go as
So-
long as you want.
Well, I try to keep it about an hour.
Yeah.
Because I also know people are channel hopping, and a lot of times it's like, okay, this one's going at this time, so now I can go over to so and so's channel and all that. So I want to be sensitive to that as well, because I know like a lot of us try to watch as many of the different favorites of ours as we can. So it's like, yeah, I try to be sensitive on time. So I would ask what you have coming up, but we all know
We all know
is
what you
going
have
to
coming
be
up.
Loki's Mornings of Mischief every weekday, Monday through Friday. And what was that time again?
8 a.m. Central Standard Time.
There you go, 8 a.m. Central, which would be 9 Eastern. And what's coming up this week? So tomorrow we have on Troy's channel for Friday Night Last Call. Who's your guest?
Tomorrow night on Last Call, I have two guests. Deleted Scenes, who's dropping all the links because he is our Hollywood entertainment movie trivia expert. And Tom Connors of Midnight's Edge After Dark,
Mead Radio.
We are going to be watching. I don't usually do watch parties, but we will be watching Dark Side of Oz or Dark Side of the Rainbow or Wizard of Floyd, whatever you want to call it. But it's the Wizard of Oz synced up with Dark Side of the Moon. We're going to drink. We're going to watch it. We're going to point out the cool little sync-ups, and Tom will probably regale us with his encyclopedic knowledge of Pink Floyd. That's why I'm having him on as my subject matter expert.
There you go.
Nice.
And then on Saturday, we're going to be over on Big Al's channel for...
we are going to be watching Harvey with Jimmy Stewart.
Oh, I love that. I love that. Not enough people watch that movie. Or
And
know
a
it.
reminder to everybody, when I do a watch party, whether it's on my channel, Netter's channel, or Big Al's channel, I host the movie off platform, so the link will be provided in the
It'll
pinned
be
to the
pinned
top
to
of
the
the
top.
chat, so you can watch Cosme with us.
Right, so you don't have to have your own copy. I mean, when we first started doing it, we either tried to find it free somewhere for you guys to watch, or we asked you to have your own DVD of it. And then it's like, okay, let's get everyone synced up. So we're starting at this place, and okay, go. And then hopefully
Exactly.
everyone was in sync.
And a lot of what I like to show, like the dark side of Oz and whatnot, is something that may not be available out there, or like the
Right.
holiday special may not be available out there. So you kind of need my link if you want to see what we're watching.
And
so.
not everyone has the extensive DVD collection that I have. So we discovered that the Cosme link was the best way to go. This way, anyone can watch it. They don't have to worry about being synced up, and they can still, join us and be able to watch the movie while we're doing our commentary on it. So that's Saturday night, and then on Sunday, we're over on Agent Boomer's channel for
Well,
Geeky
actually,
Geezers.
before that,
Yeah, deleted scenes before
deleted
that.
scenes. If you could drop your link one more time, I know you just did. Unscripted. I don't know what number he's on, and I don't know what the topic is. But deleted scenes has now become the. I'm gonna call it. I don't think Agent Boomer's gonna feel that I'm stepping on his toes. I'm making it official tonight. We have been calling deleted scenes unscripted the unofficial lead-in to Geeky Geezers. I think we're gonna make that official right
That's
now.
definitely
He's the
official.
lead-in to Geeky Geezers. So
Absolutely.
over on Agent Boomer's channel, Geeky Geezers will bring you the week's geeky news. A lot of times stuff that you're not getting on the other channels because it's stuff that interested us that maybe not everyone else is interested in. I like to bring a very different take on things. Sometimes not a popular take, but
Listen to Troy rant.
sometimes I rant. Yeah, and I think we have a few viewers who know how to push my buttons just to get me to rant. I think that's why they come and tune in. So that's Sunday. And honestly, I don't know anything beyond that, so I can't really.
Well, my guest next week over
Yep.
here on Netter's Network Thursday Things will be Tommy and the Guinea Pig Collection.
Yep.
So
I
that ought to be interesting.
I enjoy following Tommy on the social medias, and he's got a great channel, and should be a great talk next week.
Well, all of my guests are great.
Yeah.
So now I'd like to ask Loki, do you have any final words for our chat?
I love how y'all collaborate. The collaboration is so key. Getting along with other creators, no drama, no fuss, no BS. That is so admirable, and you don't see that a lot. There's so much going in behind the scenes of YouTube
Yeah.
that people don't know about, and to have good collaboration with fellow creators is so important, especially today, because there's a lot of people that are just out for themselves. A lot of people just out for they're out for popularity, they're out for points. And when you can work with some really good people and you have that reputation, that is so absolutely awesome for a channel. So you guys are great. Thank you very much
you.
for having me on.
Oh, I'm just really happy that you're here. It's like I've been following you for a while, and it's like I've got to get Loki on my show. And so when you agreed to be on, it's just like, I got Loki. I mean, Troy could tell you I was
Yeah.
squeeing.
Yeah.
So that's
Thank
nice.
you.
Thank you so much for being here with us. Troy, any last words?
Yeah, absolutely. I want to thank you too, Loki. You once reached out to me and had me on as a guest, and I had no reason to believe you even knew who the heck I was, and that was incredibly encouraging. And so, these nice things you just said about us, very encouraging. But you kind of modeled that, the way you are and the way you encourage people. Has really made us want to do likewise, and exactly the way you said. I mean, I was joking earlier when I said, but I want to be popular. But but I do want to be popular in the sense that the real reason that I wanted to do all of this is it's a kind of socializing, and
Yeah.
I've been making some really good friends. Everybody that I see here, on a regular basis is I really do consider a friend. And when I don't see someone for a while and they come back, it's like, oh, old home week, welcome back.
And then the next question is, are you okay? Have you been okay?
Yeah.
Do you need anything?
Or is our content just not as good anymore? No, kidding. But yeah, that's just it, Loki. So I guess maybe it's just a little bit of what goes around comes around. You've encouraged a lot of people, so you've encouraged us, and we want to encourage you back. And thanks so much.
Thank you. It's good to see. It really is.
Well, one thing I want to say before I say my final words is, any of you who know about the Potawatomi challenge that Pops has been doing over on his channel, check out my Potawatomi challenge, where apparently I'm the only one who wasn't gagging on the gum or making a funny face. So if you want to be a badass boss like me, go watch Pops' My Potawatomi challenge, see how I handle it, and then see if you can top me. And for my final words, you know what I always say. We can talk amongst ourselves, and that's all well, good, and fun. But it's so much more fun when you guys are joining us in the chat. You're dropping your questions, your comments, your trivia, you're being goofy, whatever it may be. And it doesn't feel like we're separated by miles or continents in some cases. It feels like we're all just hanging out in the same room, just chatting, having a good time. And you guys are just our friends. You're our family. We love you guys, and we appreciate you so much.
Yep.
Thank you for being here, and we will see you next time.